Good topic. We'll wait till everybody's been welcomed and admitted, and then we'll get started. Please put your name in the chat box and your program if you would. It helps us with attendance and the certificates and all of that. Okay. Yeah, we're above we're above 25. So whoop whoop. So it says 6:30, so it's time to get started. Um, Hello, everybody, and welcome one more. We're so glad you're here tonight. This is our second session in our quarterly series of the Art of Living. And before we get to the good stuff, I wanted to share just a few housekeeping details. Tomorrow or on Monday, you'll receive a follow-up email with a recording link, a handout, and your training certificate, as well as we ask a favor. Please also complete the feedback survey. You'll have a link to the feedback survey. Thank you in advance for completing it. It's brief. There's like 4 questions. But this helps us share the value of our professional development and activities with those who are helping to sponsor us to make it possible. For tonight's session, we'll have time for questions at the end. Please drop any questions you have in the chat box. And at the end, we'll stop the recording, which is already going on, and we will do the Q&A. Liz is always great about questions and answers. And then for those of you who didn't attend the first Art of Living session in November, which was so good, Nurturing Resilience, and I, Liz, use so many of the things you told us about. When I don't want to do something like exercise, I tell myself I can do it and it'll be easier the next time. I just do it. And so I've been nurturing my own resilience. So I want to thank her for that. So tonight's session offers practical strategies to support relaxation and to support our overall well-being. We have 2 additional sessions coming up, May 14th and August 6th. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Liz Wynette, who I've had the privilege of working with for the past 11 months as she has supported my health journey with thoughtful, practical guidance that's been successful. Liz is a nurse practitioner and experienced healthcare leader with a strong background in cardiology, critical care, and advanced nursing. Her education is impressive. She is a board certified nurse practitioner. She received that degree from Valparaiso University in Valpo in Indiana. Her Master's of Science in Nursing is from Valpo University as well. She has an MBA from Indiana Wesleyan University, Marion, Indiana. And then her Bachelor of Science in Nursing was from a school outside of Indiana, Liz, the University of Illinois, Chicago. All her other degrees are Indiana schools. Liz's career includes work in family practice, leadership of cardiac, cardi- cardiac and pulmonary rehabilitation programs, and the design and management of a lipid and heart failure clinic. For more than 20 years now, she has been dedicated to creating and leading a therapeutic lifestyle and weight loss clinic called Clear Outlook. It is fabulous. Through her Clear Outlook practice, Liz centers on individual well-being, inspires new possibilities, and shares her expertise through engaging, evidence-based presentations and support. So Liz, I'll let you add to that, but I have fun talking about you and introducing you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And the reason my MBA, my bachelor's in nursing is Chicago, I'm from Chicago.
Oh, I didn't know
Indiana
that.
is where I am a transplant after marrying my husband, who was the head of the science department at Culver Academies. That's her background. Okay, so that's my background. My passion is creating health naturally. Specializing in helping people lose weight is such a beautiful avenue to hit so many different vehicles to create health. And it's health in body, mind, and spirit. Our mind is three: body, mind, and spirit. Um, if we skip growing in one area, we fall behind in others or we feel incomplete. And so all my presentations will be biology based. If there is a biology to the topic, you'll hear it. It's science based. I will pull in research that is pertinent, sometimes research that is blatantly wrong, and sometimes the research that has exposed it. Um, and um, and spiritual. Spiritual, I usually deal with by giving you a Bible quote because that's our human instruction manual. And through these presentations, I became aware that a lot of the biology we already heard about as a quote in the Bible. And it sort of surprised me. And then I started looking for it more. And the answer is even psychiatry, psychology, what is good for our mind, for anxiety, fear, depression. By golly, we've already been told that. So you'll see all three married. You'll see all three married. Okay, so to start, and today you will have at least 5 skills that are portable that you can do anywhere to help you keep your head. When you hear the word relaxation, I have a picture of, people sitting going, oh, which of course is a technique, but that's really not the goal of this. The goal of it is to do the technique so that you get your head back, so you feel in charge of what's going on. You have your control back. So this is actually a class. I guess it's the perfect one after resiliency because it's how do you keep your head? How do you stay resilient? Which is why Terry and I actually put this second because the topics fit beautifully. Okay, so I will now share the PowerPoint. Okay. So the biology of relaxation, practice simple, portable skills. They're all going to be simple. They're all going to be simple. And you're going to understand how they work. And it's amazing how simple it is to keep your head. If your goal is to keep your head, okay, we tend to get what we want, what we focus on. So if your goal is to stay in charge, the tools are readily available to you. You're going to learn how to create calm. Why? So you can enjoy your day and stay resilient. Why do we even have a stress response? Why does it exist? It's so we can handle challenges. That's the reason for the stress response, to handle challenges. Stress is good for us. Distress is not. Stress is good. The best example I have that is when the alarm goes off in the morning. Okay, that's a stressor. We need it so we get up on time. Okay, so there are stressors that get our attention and make us alert so we can produce. That's good for us. Know the amazing chemistry of stress. And I'm going to go through the main hormonal players and tell you what they do. Know your physical and emotional symptoms. This is really a big deal, which all of you can pause right now and in your own head answer, what is one of your earliest symptoms that you're getting stressed? How do you know that you are getting stressed? Early symptom. Think as early as you can, because the earlier you notice it, the earlier you can do something about it. Okay? Mine is very simple. Mine is this. I hold my shoulders and I'll stretch. And I'm like, oh, my shoulders are tight. Well, tight shoulders are my early symptom of stress. And then I know to implement one of the things I'm going to be talking to you about. But knowing your own keeps you in charge easier and more comfortably. Proven relaxation skills so you can stay in control and design your own solutions. There are some things I do in private. Om. Om really feels good. Well, that's in private. That's also in traffic in Chicago when nothing's moving and I'm running late. I will ohm. People will think I'm singing to the radio, and I don't really care. There's no one else in the car with me. Ohm is centering. It also gives me a sense of humor that I'm actually doing this. And that's good. I guess I just told you 2 relaxation things. One is humor. If you can laugh about that, you're already free. If you can laugh about something, you are literally stopping the buildup of the stress chemicals, which is pretty cool. Okay. Breathe, relaxation skill. Yes, it's probably the main one that our parents told us to do if we're stressed or angry. They'll say, just breathe. Okay. Wise, wise. In general, do not speak until you know exactly what you want from the conversation and be sure you want it. Okay. That's very important. Just take a walk, breathe, give yourself space. Give yourself space. And it says, and imagine joy. If you're trying to get your head together, you walk off, you take a few beautiful deep breaths, and you imagine. If you walk outdoors, you don't even have to imagine. You just have to open your eyes and see nature, right? And that's often calming, as walking is. And you're going to see simple things do more for you than you could even imagine. But once you are aware of it, you will do them on purpose. And that's the key. And once you're aware of what creates distress, you can stop it on purpose. Okay. Like know your early signs and then get your head together. So breathing, the breathing technique would be you put one hand on your chest and put one hand on your abdomen, sort of lean back in your chair. And then I guess the first thing is just breathe normal. Lean back and just do normal breaths. And while you're breathing normal, notice which hand is moving. Is it the one on your chest or is it the one on your abdomen? Which one moves first? That's really the question. Which one moves first? Okay. Abdominal breathing creates calm. So when you're breathing shallow, normal, if most of it's in your abdomen, you tend to stay more even. If you're breathing up in your chest, you tend to have more adrenaline going. So you're more prone to being a little more hyper. You have a little shorter fuse because you're already primed by having more adrenaline because you're breathing up high. When I first learned this technique, I went to the Boston Mind Body Center. When I was an administrator, we were certifying our rehab programs through them. So I got to go for 2 weeks and I learned the sessions from them, which was such a joy. Um, and where was I going with that? Um, I learned that I was a chest breather. Now, I grew up being told, stand up straight, suck in your gut. Well, standing up straight is good for us, but sucking in the gut is not like a separate activity because when you stand up straight, you're already toned. But if you're really focusing on keeping your gut in, you won't breathe into your abdomen. You're going to breathe up here. So I was breathing up here. It took me 2 weeks of practice, which we're going to do now, before I spontaneously started breathing with my abdomen first. I had a gentleman, when I taught cardiac rehab, I had a gentleman in my program that was a flute player, and he said they used to make the kids lay on the ground, on the floor, with their hands here, and breathe and focus on breathing into the abdomen because you need a really big lung capacity to be able to do a wind instrument. So they were practicing maximizing the space in your lower abdomen to get air in. So now I say lean back because when you lean back, your chest is on you and your abdomen is freer. So it'll be more likely to move first. Okay, so we're going to inhale through your nose to the count of 4. Then we're going to exhale through your nose because we're actually looking to breathe, exhale slower, and the nose will make it come out slower. We'll exhale slowly to the count of 4. Then we're going to inhale to the count of 4 together. Then we're going to exhale to the count of 6. Little heads up here. You will never be able to exhale to 6 if you don't let the air out slowly. Once the air is out, it's out. You might as well inhale. Okay, so it's really about let it out slow. Next, we're going to inhale to the count of 4, exhale to the count of 8, because what is considered more optimal to create calm? Exhale twice as long as you inhale. Okay, if you're nervous, counting seconds is stressful. So I'm just saying exhale slowly. But if you are calm enough to count, inhale 4, exhale to 8. So we're going to build up. Okay, ready? Hand on your chest, on your abdomen. And when you first inhale, try to get your abdomen to move first. I told you mine didn't for 2 weeks. I had to push out my tummy on purpose first to let my body know I want this to move first. And then I started inhaling through my abdomen more, which is much more peaceful. Okay, so inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That wasn't too bad, was it? Yeah. So exhale twice as long. Now, singing, it's good for you. Think about it. When you are singing, you are exhaling more than twice as long as you inhale. Singing is one long exhale. Singing is a beautiful relaxation activity. Turn that radio on and sing. Okay, doesn't matter if you're a good singer or not. All right, so that is that. And if you didn't breathe spontaneously from the abdomen, don't worry about it. You heard my story. And what did I used to do? I had this CD that had a song that lasted 10 minutes. And I used to practice for 10 minutes a day in the evening. When the song was done, my 10 minutes of practice was done. But I literally leaned way back and I would push my tummy out first, and then after a while, it happened spontaneously, which is what I wanted. This is the diaphragm. You can see how wide the lungs are on the bottom versus the apex, which is narrow. If you're breathing up here, you're not getting as much air. Shallow breathing up here, you're not getting as much air. Shallow breathing down here, look at this capacity. You're getting a lot more per little effort. The ribs have to move for the top to move. The bottom, you just have to push down the diaphragm, which will happen spontaneously when you breathe. Okay, underneath the diaphragm is a vagal nerve. When you inhale, you're pressing on the navel vagus nerve. When you exhale, you're massaging the vagal nerve. The vagal nerve is the off switch for adrenaline. So it is your off switch. So the deep breath is literally, so even if you breathe first up here, as long as you took a deep breath, the diaphragm did drop and you are massaging the vagal nerve. Okay, so that's why deep breathing is very therapeutic. You're massaging the vagal nerve, your off switch. Okay, Om. Om is actually 3 syllables. Ah, O, we're going to do it together. And when you do it, if you exaggerate your mouth, that's actually good for you. You're using your facial muscles. It's good for you. And it'll feel better. You'll get more of the sound out. So we're going to inhale, and then together, I'll do it once. I'll demonstrate it once, and then we'll do it together twice. Ready? Okay, inhale together. Inhale. Okay. What did you feel during oming? You can't talk to me yet. I'll tell you what you felt. You felt a vibration. That vibration is supposed to simulate the same frequency as vibration in the center of the earth. It's grounding. We're hearing a lot about grounding these days. It's true. We need to ground. It's true. Um, I am usually in my bare feet or stocking feet. Even if I'm at a conference, I take my feet out of I have slip-on shoes, so I can take my feet out of the shoes and they're on the ground. I've done that since I'm a little girl. Now I know why. I needed grounding. When my feet are on the ground, I feel comfortable, and the static energy is going into the ground. So we need grounding. Om grounds you. The vibration will simulate the earth, which is pretty cool. Okay, just a thought. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The most important feature of the serenity prayer is it is in motion. Right now, it might be time to be quiet and do nothing. But then an opportunity will arise where you can do good and you're going to need courage to speak. Then do it. So, wisdom to know the difference. Does that make sense? Yeah. Language ideally is used to make life better, to bring out truth in a way that people are willing to hear it and think about it. Often we just have to think about it. Okay, so the Serenity Prayer. That's a calming thought for me. The Serenity Prayer is a calming thought for me. Um, I release what drains me. I am aware of what I want. All is clear. I choose to shed what I don't need with ease. Now, okay, that's a interesting mantra that I wrote. Um, Shed what I don't need with ease. Sometimes we don't say how we'd like it. So I added that. What do we say instead? We say, okay, I'm going to do it, but this is going to be hard. Oh, if you want it hard, but it doesn't have to be. It could actually happen with ease. When you hear yourself, think about, do you like what you just said? And edit it. Like, this is going to be hard. Maybe edit it and say, it's going to be hard at first, but once I get good at it, it's going to get easy. Move yourself into more comfort. If you want more comfort, move yourself into it. Um, Inspirational thought: don't measure a man's success by how high he climbs, but how high he bounces when he hits bottom. That is General George Patton. And doesn't that make sense for an army? You want an army that is able to get back up if the bullets are flying. Um, you have to be able to get back up, and we will fall. Now, um, for a class this week in the clinic, it was on treasure mapping, which was decide what you want in your life. I came across this song driving home from visiting my sister in Chicago this weekend by Paul Simon, and the title is You Have to Learn How to Fall. I would highly suggest look it up. I used it for treasure mapping because I saw it as the missing piece. It's good to know what you want. However, it doesn't just pop up, right? You got to work for it, you got to get skills. So the song says you got to learn how to fall before you learn to fly. How true. How true. And he goes to other examples of that type of thing in life. And it's a very upbeat song. When I play things and you're on here, for some reason, my computer does not let you hear what I'm playing in the background. It edits it out. It must be considering it as noise, but you can look it up. Paul Simon, you have to learn how to fall. You get a piece with it. You get good at it. You get a good at it. You're not afraid of it. And that, of course, the resiliency class talked about that more. Emotional frequency scale. I have all kinds of classes on depression, anxiety, fear, and I always show this scale because how many people realize that fear and anxiety is as draining of your energy a state as you will ever put yourself in? It's a -3. Sadness, depression, and guilt is a -2. Anger, frustration, blame is a -1. What sets you free from the drain? The truth. Go figure. Only if you accept it. And how do you know you accepted it? You will usually do something like this. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay, you realize it's true. Even if the truth says you did something wrong, there's still a peace and a future for you. If you don't accept it, you are tied into anger, frustration, blame, guilt, fear, because you have no control. You gave your control to everyone else. It's everyone else's fault. So find the peace you own and do something with it. Well, once you get inspired to do something and act, guess what? You're a plus one. Faith without actions is dead. How do you like that? Until you do something, you don't have more energy. You've let go of the drain, the misery, but you don't have more energy. You start making it when you do something. Then you're inspired to do it and to listen to Terry's happiness with what she created for health. By golly, she's appreciative. That's a plus two. That to live with the joy of being happy with what we're creating in our life, what we're doing with our time, is priceless. It is absolutely priceless. And it is a high energy state. Appreciation travels with love and joy, they travel together. So when I find out, I hate doing things wrong. It bugs me, especially when I hurt someone and now I'm going to need to apologize. I'm not afraid to apologize. I'm more distressed that I did something wrong and I hurt him, right? Um, I am appreciative that I found out so I can stop the argument. So I can stop the pain that was being created by whatever I had done that now I know better. Does that make sense? And when you apologize to someone sincerely, it's got to be sincere. What does sincere mean? You don't do it again. Have you ever had someone apologize and then 5 minutes later they just did it again? That's not an apology. That's, I wish you wouldn't be mad at me, but I'm really not sorry about what I did. It's a whole different thing. So the truth, inspired to act, and then you appreciate that you did it. That's how we walk through emotions all day long. Which one of these are you stuck in? As soon as you know what's going on, guilt, find the truth. Ah, the truth will set you free of the drag, but it won't do anything good for you until you are inspired to act. You're just free from the pain, but you haven't done anything good with it yet. Okay. The same mind cannot feel gratitude and fear at the same time. Go figure. Well, look at that. Gratitude is a plus two, fear is a minus three. You can't tell your subconscious to hold two different energy levels at the same time. You pick. You pick. Can you depress yourself and then smile? You can bounce back and forth, but you're going to feel a little psychotic by the time you're done with that one. Choose. Choose. You cannot hold them at the same time because it's emotion. Emotion is subconscious. Subconscious creates your hormones and chemicals, and the chemicals of fear are way different from appreciation. So you're going to have to pick. Choose wisely. Okay, calm. Touch. I already talked to you about grounding a bit. I said I take my shoes off when I'm hearing someone lecture because I'm very peaceful and grounded. I'm not distracted. I can focus better. Well, shoes off, feet on the ground is grounding. Okay. Our shoes have a rubber or plastic bottom. The leather was good. We don't have many leather shoes anymore. We have rubber or plastic. We no longer ground in everyday life. We used to, but we don't. So when you're home, take your shoes off. We need to ground more often because it gets rid of that static energy that builds up. And then you don't feel good and you can't tell why. They actually sell grounding mats that you're supposed to plug into the ground into a three-prong outlet. You make sure the third prong really has a wire. A lot of homes are built and the third prong has no wire. It's not grounded. It's not grounded. You got to unscrew the front, make sure there's a wire into that third prong. Now you're grounded. So they have things where people can sleep on grounding mats in bed. People have trouble sleeping, and it helps create peace. So there's a lot of science behind grounding. You're going to hear grounding a lot with vibration, sound. It's true. Different sounds evoke different emotional, different intellectual responses from us. So classical music has long been known to be good for the mind. Heavy metal isn't good for the mind. It doesn't mean it doesn't make you happy hearing it if you like it, but it's not good for the mind. The other is better for your mind. Okay. Rhythmic movement. Rhythmic movement is very good for us. Rhythmic movement, you think of there's drumming classes, cardio drumming. Those are really good for your mind also. Um, Anytime you move, The left arm followed by the right leg, and then right arm, left leg. So you're crossing over upper body, lower body, and left to right. You are integrating the left and the right part of your brain. Kids who never learn to crawl have a little more trouble with some of their thinking processes. Why? Left brain is supposedly associated with factual thinking. Right brain is that we cross over, so it's not pure. But the right side of the brain, left-handed people, are supposed to be more creative. Okay. The truth is, both is going on, and you want your brain, the two hemispheres, to talk to each other. Rhythmic movement, upper body, lower leg, right, left arm, right leg, helps integrate the brain. So a person who never crawled as a baby would do well doing cardio drumming class. What else crosses over upper body, lower body? Go figure. Walking. Walking. Walking is integrating left and right brain. It's good for you. So when you're stressed, to go out and take a walk, one, you're not only breathing fresh air, two, you are doing rhythmic movement that helps your brain function clearer. Because a lot of stress is a thought that we can't handle something. So you want creativity to merge with facts. And then you can create some beautiful stuff. Okay, smell. It's true. There's comfort foods. If your mom made chocolate chip cookies for your birthday party, just to celebrate things, chocolate chip cookies will evoke a feeling of being loved. Cinnabon, it's too bad the malls no longer let Cinnabon. Cinnabon actually blew the smell of the Cinnabon into the mall. It's not coincidence you could smell it on almost the other end of the mall. You'd follow your nose to the Cinnabon. Well, other retailers who sold food, like the pretzel people, complained because people were being attracted to the smell of the cinnamon. So now you're just getting the smell that literally comes out of the booth, which is nowhere as intense. Okay, so smell evokes the emotions that that food was associated with. For the weight loss clinic I run, my recommendation is keep the part that works. In other words, Cinnabon. Put cinnamon on in our vanilla shake, our protein shake. Put cinnamon in it. You'll have the cinnamon, the good feelings of the cinnamon, but you won't have the calories. So the joy without the price to pay. Okay. Um, All right, and the most common relaxation really is lavender and vanilla. Those are the two that do evoke chemicals of relaxation. A good Epsom salts bath. Do like a half a cup of Epsom salts in hot water and then add a drop of real vanilla. Do not go with fake vanilla. It doesn't have the same chemical properties. It's the chemical properties of vanilla that you're inhaling that you want. So it's got to be real, real good vanilla. Okay, Om we talked about. Classical music, I said, is good for your mind. Om will, of course, also incorporate breathing. Nice long exhalation. And grounding, vibration that simulates the center of the earth. What else is good for grounding? Hug a tree. Picture its roots going deep into the earth and hug that tree. Um, Hold someone you love. Hold someone that makes you feel secure. Shaking hands grounds you. A kiss grounds you. The physical contact between people is actually important and it grounds you. It will reassure you more than words, which is why, some people are just more huggy than others. Um, a hug is much more therapeutic than, oh, that really, I can tell why that you would be disturbed. Um, the alternative would be, may I hug you? And the person, of course, will say yes or no. Okay, taste. Comfort foods, food and emotion, there is a link. And then keep the piece that works, the smell that works. Okay. Sight. All right, open your eyes wide. Um, Squinty eyes, squinty, is what we do when we're studying a problem. Let's say there is a leak in the ceiling. So you squint your eyes and you look up. That's in the problem. Then you open your eyes wide and say, oh, it is water leaking in the ceiling. I better call someone to fix it. Okay. Squinty eyes are hooked into adrenaline, more of the stress response. Open eyes, and it is aha eyes, open wide. When the muscles around the eyes are relaxed, they're hooked into the vagal nerve, just like a deep breath massages the vagal nerve. Now, how cool are we wired? This is actually the first moment in my lecturing, making, creating talks, where I suddenly realized the Bible is more um, exact verbiage. It means what it says than what I thought. What does the Bible say? Open your eyes and you will see. And I literally said that when I taught the open eyes thing. So it's called being in your peripheral vision. When you are squinty, if you put your hands out over your shoulders, put them back over your shoulders. When you're squinting, you can't see your hands. Now open your eyes wide. You can move your hands forward a smidgen. You will see your hands in the corner of your vision. That's being in your peripheral vision. Then your eyes are wide open to where you're actually hooked into calm and in control. When you're speaking to someone who's squinty, they are not, they are getting way too much adrenaline. I would not have an argument with a squinty person. Help them relax first. Say, what are you trying to tell me? Help them relax first. Do not try to debate because when you're squinty, you're not thinking. Okay, if you're mad enough. Okay, so open eyes. Open eyes is receptive and it is calm, hooked into the vagal nerve. Okay. Here is the beginning of the biology of the stress response. And hold on, just got to keep track of time. Okay. Um, your hypothalamus is the part of your brain that is alerted that something needs to be done. It sends a hormone to the anterior pituitary, which makes ACTH, acetylcorticotropic hormone. I don't care if you know the name of all the hormones, but if you like biology, you won't mind hearing it. And that will stimulate your adrenal gland, which sits right on top of your kidneys. That's where your adrenal gland is. So in your back, on top of your kidneys. It then stimulates the adrenals to make both adrenaline and cortisol. Those are its two major, it makes other things also, but those are two of the major ones. That creates the fight response. Okay. Too much of it is uncomfortable and incapacitating. And if it's persistent, you end up in a state of anxiety. Hence, I said, know your early signs so you can do something about it. And even if your early sign is simply saying, oh, oh, my shoulders are tight. Okay, what am I stressing about? Okay, you just open your eyes and you're already starting the relaxation response. This is the parasympathetic, the vagal nerve. This is the sympathetic, adrenaline, cortisol. Pupils dilate when you're in the stress response. You don't make saliva, your mouth often gets dry. Your heartbeat goes up, your pulse, your breathing goes up. The bronchi, the airways in your lungs open, hence epinephrine that people take to help them breathe if they have, asthma. That is actually one of the chemicals of the stress response. It's dilating your bronchi so you can get air. It inhibits peristalsis, so your gut slows down. People sometimes get an upset tummy if they're in a and they don't feel like eating, persistent state of stress to where the gut has slowed down. Um, you make more glucose. You dump glucose into the blood from that was stored in muscle and liver. Well, that's because it's fight or flight response, isn't it? You need energy. All this is about energy. All this is about what do you need to run, to fight, to move. And your bladder doesn't do much of anything. It's inhibited. Now let's go over the vagal nerve. You opened your eyes, and now you stop the sympathetic, and you're starting to get into the parasympathetic. The pupils no longer that dilated. You are making saliva again. Your mouth's not bone dry. If you have asthma, the benefits of the stress are gone to breathing. Peristalsis comes back. Your gut's starting to move again. And the bladder is now capable of contracting. Okay, there you go. So two different functions. fight or flight. So the first thing that happens is your mind becomes aware that there's a need. Focus increases, and so does analgesia. Have you heard of people who were in a car accident? They saved a loved one, carried them out of the car, and the car's on fire. They're in safety, and all of a sudden they realize they have a broken arm. How the heck did they carry the person with a broken arm? Analgesia. Our body numbs out things that have nothing to do with what your focus is. And if your focus is to get away, or you hear of people where a refrigerator falls over on a pet or a child, the parent suddenly picks up the darn refrigerator. How'd that happen? They had one purpose. They were completely focused, and your body will get all its chemicals in order to accomplish that. And yes, pain, the sensation of pain goes down. Now you have stimulated, well, the hypothalamus got stimulated. That's corticotropic releasing hormone. It makes you even more alert. So we've got improved focus and awareness. We have numb to things that have nothing to do with what your focus is. And you are more alert or alarmed. Now, this is important. If you're kicking into alarmed, you're going to make slightly different chemicals, different proportion than if you're alert. So alarm, oh my gosh, this is too much. Alert, huh? I looks like what's going on here so that I know what to do about it. The anterior pituitary makes ACTH, learning new behavior goes up. So if you do something embarrassing, you're embarrassed, you're stressed. By golly, your ability to remember that you did that goes way up. So you don't have to do it again. You actually are more open to learning when you're stressed. Cramming for an exam. The test is tomorrow. Oh my gosh, the test is tomorrow. I didn't finish reading. Well, you're going to be more alert. You're going to be able to learn faster. So cramming does work. Now, all of us who've ever crammed already can tell you it does work. What does not work? Trying to cram and being alarmed and saying, oh my gosh, I'll never get this done. You're going to overdo your stress hormones and you will not function well. Okay, so you got to know your purpose. The adrenal glands make epinephrine, norepinephrine, pulse, blood pressure, breathing, everything goes up. But included is you can focus, and sugar and fats get dumped into your blood. Well, why that? Energy, fight or flight response, energy. Okay, then got this one. Your adrenal glands also make cortisol. Cortisol also increases blood pressure, pulse, breathing, glucose, fats, but it also raises amino acid. What's with that? Amino acids are the building block of protein. Where is it getting the amino acids from? Persistent state of stress dissolve your muscles. Persistent states of stress dissolve your muscles. It's not healthy for us. Um, Prednisone is synthetic cortisol. People on high dosages of prednisone start getting fat in their abdomen. Cortisol makes fat grow in the abdomen, and their arms and legs get thinner. If you've seen someone on chronic prednisone, that's what they look like. You dissolve the muscle. So, what am I also telling you? Be careful about being stuck in stress. Let it go. Take a break. Resiliency and thinking goes down. Now, adrenal glands also make DHEA. That makes you resilient and think better. How is it choosing which to make more of? Were you alert or were you alarmed? Are you deciding you're going to handle this or are you overwhelmed? Whatever the outcome you're shooting for, your body will make chemicals in a different percentage to match what you need. DHEA is very important to stay resilient. The pancreas decreases insulin production, increases glucagon, which raises blood sugar in the blood. Why? Energy. You want the sugar in the blood so your muscles can use them because you're fighting or running. It's an energy thing. Okay. Um, then the kidneys make renin, angiotensin, aldosterone, which raises your blood pressure, salt, and water. What I'm bringing to your attention now is if you're stressed, you will be puffy, and it's not because you ate more salt. Your kidneys are selectively holding more salt. So stress makes you puffy. Um, Kidneys, vasopressin increases blood pressure and learning, and then you're at peak performance. So to summarize, You think better with the right amount of stress hormone. Diabetes gets out of control because you've got epinephrine dumping sugar in the blood, you've got cortisol dumping sugar in your blood, and you've got the pancreas making glucagon, which dumps sugar in the blood. So diabetes, blood sugars go up even though you didn't eat a single carb. How do you like that one? It is very important for people with diabetes to learn how to manage their stress so they stop dumping extra sugar. So now you're at peak performance and you literally have this fleeting thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can handle this. Now you made a little bit more stress hormone and now you're overwhelmed. If you know your early symptom, you can open your eyes and turn off future production of the stress hormone. It'll just stay sort of where you're at, and then the vagal nerve increases what it's doing. And you are right back to peak performance. Catching yourself early, breathing, take your shoes off, ground yourself, do whatever technique I said creates calm that you decide you want at the time. They all work equally well because they all turn down the stress response. This is an all or none. So, whether you're stressed because you're sick, you have a bad cold, that's a stressor on the body, you're doing all this. People who are sick, if they're diabetic, their blood sugars get out of control. They need more insulin if they're taking insulin. I was a critical care nurse. People who weren't even diabetics, who were very, very sick, septic, different ailments, they literally, their blood sugars went off the roof. We had them on insulin drips until the infection resolved, and then they weren't even diabetic. But what was going on? They were dumping sugar in your blood, part of the stress response. Okay. Aren't we made amazing? I'd rather look back at my life and say, I can't believe I did that, instead of saying, I wish I did. What the heck? Um, if I'm having trouble deciding on something, I will often put myself 3 to 5 years into the future. And I will look back at today and say, what do I hope I did? Um, Terry told you several degrees I have. Well, I changed careers quite a few times. When I was a head nurse, I wanted to be an administrator, so I got my MBA. Partway going through school, I already became an administrator. When I left administration, I wanted to be a nurse practitioner. Um, we just sort of design our life as we go along. How did I decide to be a nurse practitioner? I looked at my future. I could go back to critical care nursing. I didn't want administration anymore. I was finished with that. Um, and I said, well, I was creating jobs for nurse practitioners as an administrator, and I liked some of the jobs I created. So I said, nope, I'm going to be a nurse practitioner. Why? Life is too long not to be doing what you want to be doing. And I do mean too long. So when I looked at my future 3 years ahead, I would have been done with my nurse practicing. I decided I wanted to say I did it. And I did. I did. Things go faster than we think. Invest the time to get what you want. It's fun. Um, okay. Practice detachment. Trust it is all good. Now, this I left as a slide so I can tell you I don't agree with it. I do not, by any stretch of the imagination, think everything is good. I, however, do know all things can be used for good. So to trust it is good. No, some things happen to us and they're not good, but you can use them for good. You can do something with it. Like when I had had enough of administration, I used it for good. I used it to create a new career that I never would have done had I not quit administration. I liked it. I was making too much money. I didn't want a cut in pay. So it was a good time for a career change, and I did it. I am creating what I want in my life right now. I am grateful for it or something better. God is with me, guiding me. I will add or something better. Why? Because sometimes we want things that are not good for us. And what I'm doing is letting God know if this isn't good for me, just don't let me have it and help me see that something else would be a much better option. So I am totally grateful to get what I'm working on or something better. And whatever God thought was better than what I wanted, I'm fine with. Okay. Gives you peace. Um, create safe and calm. Um, at this point, I do, I play music, but I told you music doesn't play. And I take people on a 5 minute, I was debating which, I have several different activities I could do with you. I have just decided I'm going to take you on a 5 minute vacation. You could pretend that the ocean waves are in the background, and I actually play Paco Bell Canon Ocean Waves, which I'm not playing now, but I will talk you through it. So sit peacefully, uncross your legs, have your legs on the ground, and I'm going to take you on a 5 minute vacation to the ocean. We will, with our imaginations, take a brief vacation at a special place on the seashore. Sit comfortably, spine straight and comfortable. Rest your arms. Take a wonderful deep breath and close your eyes. Let your lungs fill and then pause a moment and let it out slowly. As you exhale, let the muscles in your body go limp and you sink into your chair, feeling heavy, warm, and relaxed. You are going to gradually create a special place for yourself at the seashore. It can be a real place you've been to before, some place you have just heard about, or an imaginary place. Imagine that you're walking along a path by the seashore. You're walking down to the beach. Look down and see the sun sparkling on the water. Feel the warmth of the sun and the cooling breeze off of the water. See the seagulls gliding high over the water and hear their shrill cries. Be aware of the powerful, gentle waves of the ocean. As you get closer to the beach, you begin to hear the waves breaking over the shore. You are alone and at peace with nature. As you stroll down the path, you feel content and happy. Look down and notice the ground you're walking on. See its color and texture. Feel your feet hit the path and enjoy the free swing of your arms as you stroll along. You are walking in complete harmony with the rhythm of the surf. Smell the salty, invigorating air. You feel a joyful expectation of a wonderful day. The path is leading out to the beach and the ground is turning to sand. If you're wearing shoes, you can take them off if you like. Pause a moment. Fill in the details of sand, seashells, seaweed, driftwood, rocks on the coastline if you like. Hear the sound of the wave, the winds, the birds, boats far out at sea. Feel the warmth of the sun and the sand on your skin. You are feeling at peace with the world. Walk down to the beach until you find just the spot you want to sit down. You can even create a reclining beach chair if you like, or put out a towel, or just sit in the warm sand. Lie down and get comfortable. Close your mind's eye and lie in the sun, soaking up the warmth, and feel your muscles go limp and soft as warm butter. Breathe in slowly, hold it a moment, and breathe out slowly. As you lie on the beach, you hear the surf, see the seagulls, and feel the gentle breeze. As a gentle breeze is felt on your skin, you feel all worry, fear, and tension release. The longer you lie here, the more deeply relaxed you become. Tell yourself, this is my special place. I can come here anytime I want to relax. You decide it's time to come back. Take a long, peaceful look at the ocean. As you breathe peacefully, soaking in the warm sun and the sounds, you feel content, confident, with a joyful expectation of a wonderful day. Take another full deep breath, and as you do, you notice you're sitting in your chair. Take few more deep breaths, and when you're ready, open your eyes. You have just taken a 5 minute vacation, which you can take whenever you want. You can open your eyes. What this was a demonstration that what your mind is envisioning is driving your hormones. This was a 5 minute imagery. You can do a 1 minute, you can do a 30-second, that as long as it is powerful in your mind to create peace, Take a few deep breaths and picture yourself. It could be your yard, it can be a room in your house, wherever for you. It can be, I'm seeing all women. We might have some men, but I'm seeing all women. It might be in your husband's arms. Whatever you need to feel whole and peaceful, you can imagine it and notice the hormones correcting for you. You'll get the strength. Okay. Avoid saying, this isn't fair. I can't deal with it. It'll take you to a dark place. Um, a very good statement to help stabilize those stress hormones is, I've got this. I've got this. I've got this doesn't mean you have every answer already. It means you're going to have it. I've got this. I know people I can call. I know help I can recruit. I got this. I understand what's going on and I can manage it. I've got this. And if you put up your thumb, remember your subconscious likes all senses. If you go like this to yourself, I've got this. Notice how you feel. So, early symptom of stress, how can you respond? You can open your eyes or you can say, I've got this. I've got this. Okay. All options. We have so many options. Distress is simply an imbalance. You think the demand is more than you can handle. It's your opinion. It's your opinion that you can't handle it. So if you say, I got this, and you include getting help from others, be surprised how you do have it. Um, Things that are stressful, even fun things, a new child, a marriage, can be stressful because it's a change. So all things can be stressful. There's things we can handle, and then sometimes it's like the straw that broke the camel's back, right? And you say, I don't know why I'm upset because I spilt this thing. Well, you're not. You're upset because the day hasn't been going well. And spilling that thing was your last straw. Does that make sense? It's cumulative. So the earlier you create calm, the better. And I've got this. So you spilled something, you know perfectly well how to get a paper towel and dry it up. You've got this. It's not the end of the world. Okay. Most of what is coming up in the slides, I already talked to you about. So I'm now quickly looking. Symptoms, I said know your symptom. What are some of the symptoms of stress? Upset stomach, appetite change, headache, muscle tension. Muscle tension was mine. Blood pressure goes up. You're restless. Your hands get cold and sweaty. You have trouble thinking. By the way, too much stress hormone clamps down the blood to your cortex, thinking brain, puts the blood in your brainstem, reactive brain. So, literally, you stop thinking when you're stressed. Literally, you stop thinking. So, please don't act when you're in high stress because you're not doing your best thinking. Give yourself time and play with any of the tools I gave you. My favorite one is open my eyes. I'll tell you that clearly because I kick into, I'm analytical. So, what is going on here? I want to know what's going on. So, I open my eyes so I see my options. Open eyes are actually options for solution. That's what your brain is looking for. Squinty eyes is studying the problem. So, I kick out of studying the problem. I've already accepted it. It's a problem. And I want to know my options. So open your eyes. Just that act will create calm, which is pretty cool. We are wired incredibly. We are wired incredibly. Um, okay, other symptoms lethargy, loss of interest, you don't concentrate, you're less productive, absenteeism goes up, you have trouble sleeping, you're irritable, you have outbursts. Um, I know that I'm stressed if I think or say, what did you mean by that? If I hear those words come out of my mouth, I already know I'm stressed, right? So I'm probably better off not even asking that. Think it, but don't say it. Think it, but don't say it. What can you say instead? Um, I'd like to understand what you just said. Could you say it another way? Right? You're still exploring, and you're hoping they're going to say something that doesn't annoy you quite as bad as the first one did. But you're exploring and you're buying time. You're buying time. Buying time is valuable. Okay, so then again, what happens during the relaxation response? Pulse, blood pressure, breathing slows down, which is why slow breathing, anything that pulls back on any piece of the stress response pulls back all of it. So slowing your breathing, you're pulling back on all the hormones. Opening your eyes, you're pulling back on all the hormones. How cool is that? And you start getting sharper again. Okay, and feeling in control. This is the open the eye thing. I've already talked to you about that. I've told you that. Um, a thought, I release what does not benefit me. I am aware of what I want. All is clear. I choose to shed what I don't need with ease now. And those are the things that are really cool to shed because they're all poison. Anger, anxiety, fear, impatience, resentment. Um, you won't be doing your best thinking. Okay, so that is it. What else can you do? Help someone. It takes your mind off of your issues. And then they say thank you, and that feels good. Refuse to be anything but successful. Okay, good. That is actually, I've talked to you about all this. Um, Food, this is just a point of interest. Carbs do create some serotonin, they create calm, but then they make you sleepy. Protein makes dopamine, it makes you more alert. So if you're studying, having enough protein instead of sugar would be a good idea. Too much fat shunts the blood away from the brain into the gut too long, and you're not doing your best thinking. So drink water, have protein, vegetables are fine. That's better than a bunch of carbs or fat for thinking. For thinking. Okay. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. Sound mind. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. God said, yes, you can. Your mind, you've got a good mind. You can find truth. You can handle things. Also, he says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. That is such a joyful thought because often we get things that seem bigger than us. Well, good news. It's not just you handling it. Um, This was another good one. When I thought my foot slips, your steadfast love, O Lord, held me up. So those are the Psalms, of course, are David talking. Most of the Psalms are by David talking to God directly of his experience with God. And this one I used for the resiliency, but I'll say it again, where you're supposed to put your head so you can stay calm and in control. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, seek truth. Remember, it sets you free. Whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is anything excellent, if there is anything worthy of praise, think of these things. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Um, if you are doing the best you can under the current circumstances, kick up your heels and dance. There you go. Humor, a sense of humor. Um, a song that I find is very centering for me, You Raise Me Up by Josh Groban. It does have to be Josh Groban. Many people have sang it, it doesn't make it. For me, it's got to be You Raise Me Up by Josh Groban. It reminds me I'm never alone. One of my favorite things as a child was sitting on my father's shoulders while we hiked. So you raised me up. I have a parallel thought of my father, which is a comforting thought. To Dream the Impossible Dream is another very wonderful song. I've taken too much time already. The mission. I am curious. Can you hear this? Duty. All right. So a song embedded you can hear. Would you like to hear To Dream the Impossible Dream? I'm over the hour. Okay, we got two smiling faces and a thumbs up. Enjoy. This is Man of La Mancha. With unbearable sorrow to run where the brave dare not go. To right the unrightable wrong, to love or embrace from afar. How far arrive, without question or fall, to
Liz, it isn't working now. It's cutting out.
It's too loud.
No, it's not working.
Oh, it stopped working. Okay.
Yeah.
Then, then I'm done with this one. Okay, but some people did hear it at the beginning.
Yes, it was in and out as it went on.
Okay, all
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Anne of La Mancha is a movie about integrity, having a purpose, living your purpose. That is another relaxation technique. Even when there's a lot going on around you, if you are staying true to your value system, you're whole and you're in control. Okay, you were given this life because you are strong enough to live it. We are done. Okay, I will unshare. And now, questions.
Feel free to put a question